All right, hello everyone. Here we are back for another tutorial here. And Gokasho Bay here. And what I'll usually use for my priority here is Guardian. 5 or higher is going to be nice, but 6 is even better. So, yeah, I didn't mean 5. Guardian 2 or higher, and but 6 is going to be kind of a next level. And for Tour 10, I'm assuming you should have Guardian 6, to be honest with you. So we're going to talk about that. And, this is going to be kind of my priority number 1. That's going to be, the best club. Covers every scenario. Here's Sniper. I recommend at least an 8. There's also going to be, a conditional. I'm not even going to throw on the other woods because I do want to talk about some irons here. So I'm going to throw on the Goliath as well for the tailwind, and also the B52 because I think those are the clubs that you should be playing on the tailwind shot. So B52 is going to be ideally a 6 or higher, and Goliath is going to be at least a 5 or higher. And the way that you need to play the iron is a little awkward, but we can talk about it. And I really don't recommend anything else because it really doesn't have the range. The only one that we could even, possibly put in here, actually, you know what? It would actually be a pretty good one. Would be Tsunami here. Would be pretty solid. So Tsunami at least a 3. This might actually be better than both of those, to be honest with you. Because what a Tsunami 3 is going to allow me to do is it's going to allow me to land right here on the tailwind. Whereas this alternative shot, let's pull a different color. The B52 and Goliath, they're going to need to land a little bit over here. So what I'll usually try to do is I'll try to usually get a little bit of curl and some bounce and let it run out this way. Whereas the Tsunami, with the tailwind situation, you can land around here and you can just kind of, crank up the backspin and get it up, 7, 8, 9, anywhere. Something you can also do with a very late Goliath as well. And it does make for just a little bit easier shot. However, we can still get away with the B52, and it has the accuracy to be able to pull this shot off. But the best shot, which I'm going to recommend, is for you to land, a little bit more aggressive, like towards here with the wood, and then a bounce, 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 and just kind of stop. It's very, very small, compressed, and it's going to be with the Guardian. And Sniper is going to have to land back here. So that's the reason that it's going to. So your Sniper needs to land kind of way back here. Your Guardian can carry the bunker, which means since it can carry the bunker the farthest, it allows you to be covered in more winds. Whereas this shorter, the Sniper one, that shot is going to be dependent upon the wind not being too much of a tailwind and kind of putting you in between clubs for your ring adjustment. So let's take a look here. Let's pull out this pink real quick, and we'll put the B52. Which one's pink? Tsunami. Tsunami's pink, and the B52 and Goliath, typically, especially early on, are going to follow more of this blue path. So there's the different paths that you can see about playing this hole. And let's go ahead and start to put together this guide. So let's take a look at orange path, which is going to be the Sniper. It gets into a lot of trouble with this tailwind. So you would have to pretty much short hit most tailwinds So let's just, for simplicity, just say, okay, well, we're just going to use our, oh, wow, I have to change the color of this. We'll just change where I write. So 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, anywhere in here, maybe this last one, 6.25, 6.25, and maybe even 5.75 in this situation. You can start to take off that backspin on those cases. Very few cases where that gets to happen for the sniper, but this 6.5 is pretty much maxed out. So you're essentially at max for this sniper land zone. And next is going to be your tsunami. We'll talk about that one. So that's going to pretty much be, tailwind specific shots. And you're pretty much just going to use max. I mean, there's no reason not to. So we'll just, put max on all these here. And just kind of land right here and just stop it as fast as we can for the most part. You can use your ball guide a little bit. You should be able to extend to at least see what it looks like up there. And you could just try to kind of gauge your land zone according to that. And we'll only do that for those 3 winds only. So it would have to be, a very aggressive tailwind to even pull that approach. However, with the Guardian shot, there's going to be very few spots here that aren't covered. Even your max wind is pretty much covered. All you would have to do is kind of short hit it a little bit. The max tailwind here is still going to be covered. But the way that we can play this to make the shot a little bit easier, we don't have to get it as aggressive as the sniper does. So we can go 7.5. We can go 7, 7. Maybe 6.5 here. 7.5. And for this, we can just start to crank it up. Actually, I just pretty much use max on all tailwinds here. So on the side wind cases, what 7.5 is going to do is it's almost going to create a stop shot. So you're trying to get that third, fourth bounce right by the hole. Because it's not going to back up. It's not going to go forward spin. It's just going to kind of stop. So you're just going for a stop shot. On this tailwind, same thing's going to happen at max. Now, if you did the max on these side winds, it would actually start to back up a little bit. But you kind of start to lose control of your ball guide because you can't actually see it on the ball guide. So it makes more sense to just do more of a stop shot. So that's kind of why I have it set up to do that. So that'll cover all 3 of those cases. And you can see that pretty much this Guardian shot from 6 on is pretty much covered exclusively. You can always do it very easily for this hole. You might just have to short hit a couple on these really mega winds that are tailwinds. But all in all, it's going to be very manageable to be able to pull that shot off. So let's talk about the last case real quick. And what I'll usually do is about 4 backspin in this case, and you can see where I'm landing. And for maybe 3.5, 3, 3.5. Actually, you know what? I'm doing things that can't happen. So the most that I can do is a side wind, which I usually don't do this. And for the tailwind case, I still pretty much do the same. I'll pretty much stick to this spin because I want it to kind of, it'd be nice to bring it up to 4.5, but you might not have it. So I can write them in, or I can just change my landing zone. So there's plenty of room to land it a little bit shorter, so it doesn't matter if you use 4 on all these. But what it is going to require, it's going to require some curl. So, and it's usually right about here, about half. So I'll need to, pull over half of the screen for the curl, land here, and I'll have to put the side spin. You'll usually see the ball guide. It seems to kind of stop right in here on this right edge of the hole. And judging, this is kind of with no wind effect. So if the wind is right to left, for instance, you might need to pull in your curl to about here. If it's the opposite, you might need to go a little bit more towards max. So it's really just going to be dependent upon the wind that you get, but this is pretty much going to be the even spot, is right about half, give or take. And, aside from that, you have that. And let's just talk and finish this up with the wind cases. So here's the headwind, here's the tailwind, and here's the side wind. So for the side wind, let's take a look at some of these. So with this over the hop, over the bunker shot, that's going to be the tailwind case. So let's take a look at that. So I only do this shot with the tailwind, and I'll usually use max plus 20 to plus 30. And you're usually, into this bunker, it's a little lower surface, so it gets a little bit challenging to actually get enough for that shot. It can be, a little bit of a challenge, whereas this one's a little bit easier, the one off to the side. And I'll do the same thing, with this route. I do the exact same adjustment. So I'll just write, same here, just to kind of condense space. So for this blue, it's going to be kind of the same as this, and it has to do with kind of the trajectory change as to why that happens. And with the orange line of the sniper, so with the headwind, I'll probably do about max plus 40, plus 50%, somewhere in there. 40 to 50%, very significant. And with the side wind, I'll probably use maybe max plus 30%. So, you have a very large elevation change here that you have to be shooting down to that lower target. So something you definitely need to be cautious of. Now, for this other case, for the Guardian case, it's going to be very similar. I'm still going to, for the side wind, I'm going to use this max plus 30, but I'm also going to, for both of these cases, I need to make sure that I still play wind effect on top of the max plus 30. And very similarly to the headwind, I'm probably going to go at least max plus 50 minimum. And for the tailwind, I'm going to go at least max plus 20. So about 1 per ring, usually on a Guardian, if it's a 7 or 8 or whatever. So there you have it. A very complicated hole with a lot of different routes to go about doing it. However, the one common denominator, if you have Guardian for this tour, these Gokasho holes, pretty much all of them universally, you're going to have an advantage on the Gokasho holes. As you can kind of see just by this one alone, that you can always have yourself covered on every wind scenario. So good luck, and I'll catch you guys on the next guide.